Oh no, there's a car coming. I need to warn him, but I'm not gonna be able to because he's wearing the JBL Tune 750 BTNCs.
I love the sound of a vacuum.
Gotta love that turbo whistle. The Tiburon is back.
We're back at it again with the car you guys don't care about. But guess what? This time it's gonna get more views because some of you are new watchers because you would like to know if this air intake is cool and how to put it on. That's what we're gonna freaking do. This is the V6 GT. I'm sure yours is too. It's a pretty sweet car. This one, there's a reason we're doing this air intake and we'll show you that when we get there. But as of right now, I'm Simon, this is Noah. We do a lot of YouTube stuff. Thank you for tuning in. Your mom. All right, guys. I did valve covers on this car. I replaced the valve cover gaskets. That job sucked. But what sucked more is that when I finished putting it all back together, it ran like shit. I'm gonna fucking shit my pants and cry. And I'm like, okay, it's gotta be a vacuum leak. And it took me 2 hours to find where it was coming from, even though it was super obvious. The ribbing on the intake had a giant hole in it just from me removing it, and I wasn't hard on it. The rubber used in this engine, I guess, is super cheap. And so it's more accustomed to ripping after this many years of being used. So, I told the customer, I said, hey, I can't fix it. It's on the ribbing. I can't even put tape around it. And even then it would be a temporary fix. I know this customer had been interested in an aftermarket cold air intake. So I told him, hey, now's the time. Your wife can't say no if the car needs it. All right, today we have the AEM cold air intake. Yeah, and we got real instructions. That's pretty sweet if we need them.
When you told me he got an air intake, I was kind of worried he got just a short ramp.
Yeah, no, this is the real deal.
It's blue, and it's got the 2 pipes.
Da-boo-dee-da-boo-die. I want to fucking die. The cold air mushroom tip.
We got
Rubber.
rubber.
And all the stuff we need, because it's actually not Chinesium.
It's not an eBay part.
Yeah, look at that. So now, we're gonna take the old one off. Noah's gonna take this bitch off.
Now I'm gonna put my bare hands all over this hot ass engine.
Okay, Noah,
Yes?
we do have gloves for your convenience. They're right here. They've always been there. They don't move.
Ah, yes.
Fuck is your problem?
Latex gloves. That'll totally protect me against heat.
You'd be surprised. You get at least 1 to 2 extra seconds of contact before it burns, which is usually enough for your brain to go, heat was hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Noah's got a history of burns, but that was fire.
Sorry, I'm trying to put my hand condom on. It's not working well. All right, I'm gonna take off the top portion of the air intake first. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna unclip these 2 clips in the front, like so. So in the back here, you have these pieces of plastic.
You just lift up on this side
And pull it out.
and pull it out.
And you just kind of slides off like that.
Cool.
Next, we're gonna take the mass airflow sensor out. We're gonna push down on this little metal bar right here, and then it can come out.
All right, you have 1 vacuum hose.
1 vacuum hose.
Ours is just pressure fitted. Give it a yank. Well, you don't really have to yank. You just kind of, yeah. Oh, I'm coming. Very good. Damn. And then we have a hose clamp.
Give me the tool.
Yours might have a clamp more like this, but either way, a regular hose clamp is usually an 8mm. These ones are usually a 10mm.
Okay, I'm gonna unplug this bitch.
Good job.
All right, there we go. It's tightened. I mean, loosened.
Now you're just gonna pull on that and separate it from the throttle. And if you disconnect
that?
this half first, the whole thing will just come out. Right here, there's usually that plastic clip tied to the mass airflow sensor plug will be clipped in there, and you will have to take that out.
Where do you
before
want
do
this?
it. I don't care, it's garbage.
Okay.
Wait, here's the hole. I tried to repair it just to get the car home with some like RTV, and it kind of worked, but it also kind of didn't. The hole was very big though. Huge vacuum leak, and because it was after the mass airflow sensor, it was not being accounted for. Also, you shouldn't have thrown that. The mass airflow sensor we still need. I'm glad you didn't break it. All right, guys, next you got to take out these 3 10mm bolts to get out the bottom of the airbox. You will also have to slide it out of this plastic pipe here. Look at that. Just
All
right
right.
out. And now you're left with your motor mount and some more free space, actually. That looks kind of nice.
Hell yeah. All right, so next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this cold air duct with a 10mm. Wow.
Yeah, I've made the executive decision to remove the battery. You're gonna need a 12mm to remove the retaining bolt. Right down here. There's that. You can take your battery out. And everything is much simpler. Now we need to get to the bottom part of that cold air duct, which means we're probably gonna have to get in the wheel well. So here we go. The doctor is in. Let's try a 21. Very good. There's a couple of clips. You got some clips here. They got screw tips on them. Those screw things usually don't work at all, so I usually resort just directly to the pry method. And then I just keep extra pop clips because they're always broken and shit. Then there's a 10mm up here. Now we're almost loose, but we have a couple more pop clips and or 10mm under the front of the bumper. The survey says pop clip. Come on, survey. That is the biggest resonator I have ever seen for an intake. That's all part of the intake.
God damn.
What the fuck? 10mm Peter. There's another 10mm at the front that I'm gonna need an extension for. Now, we should be nice and loose. Oh my gosh. Okay, come back up top with me, take a trip. This is where it ends.
Oh, what the fuck?
I am really starting to have a strong distaste in my lymph nodes for Hyundai. I don't know why they do what they do. I just know that they do what they do. And what they do makes me want to commit die. So that's the end of this fucking thing. Now we're back under. And there's a sensor whose plug is attached to this. See up here, guys? There's a sensor that is strapped to this fucking box. You'll have to take that off too. Now, this thing should be all the way free. The metal bracket used to hold this resonator in place is giving me a hell of a time. There we go. All right, watch out, I'm coming towards you. Okay. Holy weight reduction, Batman. Good Lord. Okay, now, you guys see this hole? We gotta make the pipe fit through that hole. And according to the instructions, it doesn't. So we may have to make some modifications. However, I am gonna test fit. Oh, dude, they couldn't have made the pipe just a little bit smaller. Bruh. I don't wanna have to cut. I don't wanna get cutting tools out. I don't wanna deal with metal splinters. I don't wanna deal with any of that. Watch this. Unless you're the customer. Don't watch this. I'm gonna defile your fucking car.
Well, I was gonna say he probably shouldn't watch this as soon as I threw his mass airflow sensor.
Meh. Taking bets now on whether or not Simon has any metal blades left. Here I go, cutting things. Ooh. Okay, all right, okay. We got that. Now, I need to make sure I don't cut through the ground strap, so I'm not gonna cut on the other side. Watch this. Now that I have that cut, this metal will be a lot more interested in bending. Look at that. The harsh edges are turned down, they won't contact the pipe. Now we're gonna see if this fits. Fucking like a glove or something. Super simple, no Dremels, no bullshit. Just get you a Sawzall down in there and give it a little, and then after that, give it a little sayonara. This is one of those old school mass airflow sensors. It's its own connector. It's a whole housing with honeycomb and all this other crap. Good thing it didn't crack when you threw it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I would never throw anything.
Other than a tantrum. Stupid. I knew that was coming. Sounds kind of good though. You're good at that. Keep doing it.
I messed it up in the beginning.
You did. You really fucked it up.
Yeah, I did.
I can't even with you right now.
Fuck!
All right, guys. We're gonna install the rubber boot on the throttle body first. It's gonna be the only boot in the kit that is 2 sizes, and the smaller side is gonna go on the throttle body. For ease of install, we're going to use the smallest hose clamp provided. Now, we're not gonna tighten any of these down right away because we're gonna have to do some spacing type beat. This vacuum bung needs to be close to the vacuum hole right down here. Let's install our vacuum hose. So,
Hose.
one end of that is gonna go to this. You see that?
Yes, I do.
There's a bung down in there, you guys. Kind of sucks to get to unless you have this connector undone. But make sure you reconnect that once you're finished with the job.
All right, it is on.
Now put it on there. Epic. Now, before we forget, let's plug it
Yeah,
in.
I'm gonna plug this back in now before I forget.
Good idea. We need our mass airflow sensor.
it would make a lot of sense to do this on the bench and go ahead and gently tighten down the hose clamps. Yeah. The mass airflow sensor is 2 different sizes, and it comes with 2 different sizes of hose. Let's put 1 hose clamp on either side. And this one, because this is plastic and probably expensive, you need to be very careful how much you tighten it, to the point where we're going to use a 1/4 inch ratchet instead of any kind of impact. Now we're just going to tighten this down enough. That's why we use a small ratchet, so that it's really hard to overdo. You will know when it's getting close enough to being tight without breaking anything. Now we have to be attentive to which way it was facing when it was on. There's an arrow on this mass airflow sensor right there. That indicates the direction of airflow. That needs to be pointing towards your throttle body. There's a super convenient power cord to this fuse box. It looks like you need it to go over. Now, fighting to get this thing in place is really quite frustrating. You need to seat your pipes all the way. You almost always have to do some BS to get them to connect. Run this hot wire over to the fuse box and make sure this is clear of the battery tray, because your battery gonna need to go in tray. Now that we have everything in, you'll notice that this guy doesn't really have a home, but the home that I believe is intended is right here. Take this airbox mount out because we don't need it anymore. Goodbye. Take this little fella, this little guy, thread him in here. Now that just kind of goes up over there. There are 2 things provided for that: a large washer with a small hole and a lock nut. Now, for battery clearance, I want to have this intake the farthest that way that it can go. So, before I tighten that down, give it a push like that. We're going to hop into the fender, and Noah is going to install the mushroom tip.
Ooh, look how fucking easy that went on.
So now what we're going to do, it's time to set this bad boy to tighten. We're going to go back down the line that we have made, and we're going to tighten this baby down. You need to make sure that all your hose clamps are within a 1/4 inch of the edge and even. You don't want them crooked. Everything's tight. This bitch is in.
Except
What are we forgetting, Noah?
to plug in the mass airflow sensor.
Plug it in. Look at that, baby.
Go.
Nice. Okay, now we just got to button up the wheel well by putting those pop clips back in. And then we're going to put the wheel back on. Then we're going to put the battery back in. Don't forget your battery clamp. And then we're going to fire this hog up and see if it sounds better and it's not whistling.
All right, let's see how this bad boy sounds.
That's a fun sound. And it runs better
Yeah,
because of that hole in the intake.
Product.
we did it.
Oh.
Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
I'm tired.
So am I. Check out our Skits and Goofs channel. That was pretty exciting. Podcast channel. We got some podcasts on there. A couple.
Yeah.
We got a gaming channel. That one's dead as fuck, but it's still kind of funny sometimes. I mean, I guess. And yeah, check us out on Instagram. We respond to all our comments and we respond to all our messages on Instagram. So hit us up.
It's
if you got
fucking
any
hot out
questions.
here.
And he's a little baby.